Yeah, first of all, I want to start off by saying to all the Tiger fans that drove to Nashville yesterday that we're definitely appreciative. We did see you guys out in Nashville, ready for the game, just like we were. Just unfortunate that at a couple hours before the game what happened, but just thank you so much for coming down and trying to make that a special experience for all of us.
Okay, if you got a question, Stephen, go ahead and start us off.
Penny, I guess, can you just kind of walk us through what happened as the team learned about the COVID, whatever the cases were, and how it went about just canceling the game yesterday?
Uh, we went through our normal breakfast walkthrough, 7 a.m. And after the breakfast walkthrough, we ate breakfast. Everything seemed fine. I guess after breakfast, Tyler and Landers said that they weren't feeling well to the trainer. And I think the protocol is if kids say they aren't feeling well, to test them. And they got tested and it came back positive. And then they texted them two more times, and it came back positive both times. So I got the call from the trainer at about 8:30 saying that they had tested positive. And man, what a crazy feeling that was just to hear that. That was the last thing I thought he was going to say to me when he called me. And he said he was going to test them two more times just to make sure it wasn't a false positive. And they tested two more times, and that's what happened. So talked to Dr. Phillips at around 8:45, said that we were probably going to have to cancel the game. And no, actually, yeah, around 8:45, he said we are going to have to cancel the game. And then we came downstairs to do our video, last minute video things that we do before we go to the game to just get our last look at the team on film and what they were going to do just to be solid on our game plan. And that's when Dr. Phillips came in and told everyone.
Terry, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how long do you think you guys will be shut down? I know the game Tuesday been canceled, but when do you think you'll be back in the practice facility practicing?
Well, I'm sure there's a 7. I'm not sure, but I think there's like a 7 to 10 day of guys getting tested every day. The non-vaccinated players getting tested every day, and just going from there. I think it's usually seven days, and it's crazy. Just still blows my mind what happened, but I'm thinking it's 7 days.
Mark, go ahead.
Penny, just to clarify, you said 2 players tested positive, and then you felt you had to cancel the game. Why did you have to cancel the game with only 2 positives? Were other guys on the team, did they test positive too, or why couldn't other guys on the team play? Was it because they weren't vaccinated?
Yeah, it's unvaccinated players. I think when the rule states in the league that if anyone gets COVID on the team that's not vaccinated, then all the unvaccinated players are in that pool. And when we got to the number of guys that we actually had to play, it was only 4 guys. So that's why we had to cancel the game.
And going back to the preseason, you said 90% of the roster was vaccinated. Is that not accurate then?
Well, I think initially when I talked to the guys earlier, they were all talking about being vaccinated, and then I never visited it again. So I probably misspoke, but a lot of the guys were talking about it back then, and I never even thought about it again after that. So I probably was quoted saying that because I had talked to a lot of the guys about going into this season and what had been happening to us, this past season going in. So I probably just misspoke on that coming, in that situation.
And then just for you, what was the feeling like as you're making that long drive home to Nashville? I mean, there's Tennessee fans are saying you guys ducked them, but I imagine this was really disappointing for you not being able to play this game.
I mean, there should be some compassion for the players and the fans, not to be, nobody tries to miss a game, especially a game of this much importance to our state, to us, to our fans. We really wanted to play that game and really wish that we could reschedule it. That's something that's on our wish list. We're all for it, rescheduling and not ducking anything. But it's just unfortunate that happened, man. It happens, and it just happened at the wrong time for all of us.
Will you look to schedule another game? Like if you guys have a gap, you have a gap in your schedule a couple times later on, will you guys try and fill this hole, if you will?
I would love to do it with Tennessee. I'd love to keep working it with them. I don't know if they don't want to, then that's up to them. But we want to, and if we can't, then we might try to reschedule a game or schedule a game.
Thanks.
Jeff, go ahead. Jeff Calkins.
Yeah, hey Penny, do you think that some of these unvaccinated players, now that they see what can happen, will go ahead and be vaccinated? And do you think in retrospect that you all should have done more to make sure they were vaccinated so you didn't have this?
Well, obviously, this was a huge situation for us because it was the first time that it happened. I mean, the guys last year kind of went through it because we had COVID situations last year, but never to the magnitude of this before the biggest game of the season for us. And you don't know. I mean, you can't force anybody to do it. You can only give them the pluses and the minuses of having it versus not having it. Having it does not assure that you won't get it, but it does assure that you can. The players that are vaccinated, if they weren't the ones that tested positive, then they could still, the other players could still play and carry on. But we can't force anything. That's nothing that I can do. It's up to the parents and the players to of the magnitude of this entire situation.
Jason, go ahead.
Hey Penny, have you had any conversations with players who were previously unvaccinated or their parents, since yesterday, whether it was today or yesterday, about the benefits of getting vaccinated? And have you thought about the fact that this sort of thing could be a recurring problem all the way through the end of the season if enough players decide not to get vaccinated?
Yeah, no, I haven't really spoken to players recently, but I've always spoke to, the players out loud without trying to force any kind of issue, just talking about, but it never happened. So they were like, oh, it's not going to happen. But now that it's happened, I think most of them are probably thinking, like, man, what if this happens again? What if this happens in the conference tournament? Or what if this happens in the NCAA tournament? Then our season is going to be over. And that's something that they have to think about with their parents. Obviously this could rear its ugly head again and come from any unvaccinated person in our building. And it could be the same thing. So you don't want to keep having this happen. So hopefully the families will think more about it now that this has happened.
I don't have any other questions lined up in the queue. Anybody else jump in with anything? Mark, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, Penny, the pause for you guys. You're thinking, is it 7 to 10 days, and it just depends on how the testing goes?
Yeah, I think so.
So it could be as quickly as 7 and as much as 10.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Wait for another question. If anyone has anything here, feel free to. Yeah, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, Penny, I know you said that you're still your hope. I guess the ideal situation is to reschedule with Tennessee. Has there been any movement at all, any conversations at all? I know it's been only 24, 30 hours, whatever it's been. Has there been any movement whatsoever or feedback that you've gotten from them? I know they said yesterday they weren't interested in or didn't think they would be able to reschedule with Memphis. So I guess the question is, has there been any conversation beyond that? And has there been any efforts on your part, Memphis's part, to identify potential schedule additions, whether it's sometime soon or later in the year, like February? I know there's a week in February that you guys have open that, seems like a good time to add another game.
Yeah, I think that, from my point of view, none of us from this side have tried to contact the University of Tennessee to see what could happen moving forward, nor the other teams that could replace that game for us. more of a quad one game. I'm hoping that for the fans' sake, because both sides wanted to see this game, it's going to be a packed arena, that we could come to some agreement to get it done. I know we'll work from our side to get it done from our side, even if we have to go back-to-back games or or 2 games in 3 days. You know, we wanted to get this game for a lot of reasons, and the timing was so unfortunate on that. But for the fans' sake, I think that it's such a huge game that you just can't throw it away. You know, with all those people in Nashville wanting that game to happen, I think that we need to find a way to get it done. But if we can't, then hopefully we can find another quad one. But we want the Tennessee game because that's what the fans deserve, and that's what we want to keep pushing forward with.
Jeff, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, Rick Barnes was pretty clear he's not interested in playing it this year, and honestly, probably didn't seem all that enthusiastic about it at all. If you can't get Tennessee or another quad one, have you thought about what, I mean, the loss of yesterday's game does to your potential resume? Make it that much harder for you, or that much work has to be done in the conference schedule?
Well, we knew when we lost 4 in a row what we had done to ourselves, you know, but we did come back and beat a really good Alabama team and had momentum going into the Tennessee game. And it's his right, I guess. Hopefully we can have the presidents and the ADs talk and kind of push this thing through. I see if it's up to him that he doesn't want to, but we do. And hopefully the powers to be will want to push it through for the fans' reasons, not for the coaches or anything else besides that. But I did think about the magnitude. It was a huge game for us to lose, especially coming off of the Alabama game with momentum. You go into that game and get that game, then you're put back right where you need to be going into conference. But we still have to take care of business in conference. Conference is not going to be easy, but we do know that we have to continue to win to show that the Alabama game wasn't a fluke, and that we have to show good basketball. We start playing good basketball like we did in the Alabama game, then I think the committee will see exactly who we are.
Thanks, Penny.
Back to Jason, and then I think that's all we got, but we'll see. Go ahead, Jason.
Couple of quick ones here. I wanted to make sure, if I remember right, you said you are vaccinated?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing was there's been some talk of the get together on Friday night where the players attended like a alumni / fan event, and that it was a sort of a brief appearance and everybody was wearing masks and everything like that. Has that been like, who, you know, what are your thoughts on how that situation, you know, what are your thoughts about that situation, and whose idea was it to bring the players to that?
Yeah, I think that it was so brief and so quick. You know, we were there probably 5-6 minutes, 7 minutes max. They knew that we had to go watch film. We had just gotten back from shoot around, went to the level where the donors and the ambassadors were, probably about that long, and then went down and watched film and then went to bed. So it was probably from like 7:45 to about 7:50, 7:52, somewhere in there. And then we went downstairs and watched film. I think it's crazy. People think that the guys went partying and things of that nature. You know how you have your donors and your ambassadors in a room. You go and say hello, and you're out. It wasn't long at all. The guys had their masks, so you know they can say a lot of stuff, man. You know, this stuff happens all the time. As far as like when you have fans in the hotel or donors in the hotel, you meet and greet, and then you're out. So I don't know whose initial plan it was for us to come up, but I saw nothing wrong with going up and just saying hello to those guys because I knew it was going to be brief, and then we went right back downstairs.